All right, I am here with Tony and Sarah Zolecki, some of my dear friends, and even more than that. I'll talk about that in a minute. But these guys are top earners in the profession. And as we like to do in this series, we like to have conversations with top earners, talk to them about their story, where they came from, how entrepreneurs are created, where, are they built, are they created, are they born, what are they? So Tony and Sarah, welcome.
Thanks for having us. Hi.
I'm glad you guys are here. What some people don't know, these guys are part of the $1 Million Hall of Fame.
Yep.
And they've been in the profession for a long time. We'll get into that. But Sarah is also my cousin. So we grew up in the family together, and we're a couple of the renegade network marketers.
That's right. The black sheeps.
The black, yeah. It's
not anymore, though, right?
No. Now everybody's still a little confused. Like they don't quite know what we do.
Yeah, right.
But we're doing well enough that they're not worried about us anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you say that because when we won the award, when we got the award for Hall of Fame, my mom sent me a text and she goes, "Oh my gosh, I saw a picture of you with this award." She goes, "Oh wow, it must be something." Like my mom, like 20 years later, she just, they just don't know, right?
Yeah. I have no
I'm like,
idea.
oh yeah, it's, it's just something awesome,
Yeah. So I'm going to start with you, Sarah.
Okay.
And we'll get to how you guys came together and family you built and the business you built. Two families, right? Your family, and then your team family.
Yes.
So describe to the world what you were as a kid. I mean, if somebody's like, if I'm describing your kids,
Okay.
I have very clear mental descriptions. I could describe your kids pretty well.
Right. Right.
How would somebody describe you, looking at you like you'd look at your son today? What would be the characteristics?
Bossy.
Mm-hmm.
Is that bad? That's the first thing that comes to mind.
Bossy.
Right? Okay. Fun-loving.
Yeah.
Take on the world.
Yeah. Good student?
Very good student.
Very good student.
Very good student.
Yeah, you could tell you take pride in that. It's like you're
right. I was.
Yeah. So I'm on the other side of the entrepreneurial spectrum when it comes to students. I was a very poor student. You're a very good student. Just so people understand, you don't have to be a C student or below in order to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
A students get there too. So were you entrepreneurial ever? Growing up, thinking entrepreneurially? Were you money motivated? Were you
I was definitely
business
money motivated.
oriented? Did you like projects?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think my first job, I was 14. I was selling, I don't even know if you know this, I sold turkey drumsticks at the state fair.
Turkey drumsticks. Wow.
I know that doesn't really look like
it like a family friend or something?
Yeah, it was my dad's best friend from high school. And they
wow.
needed some people. And so we're like, okay, we'll help. And so I was selling turkey drumsticks
Drumsticks for 10 days at the Minnesota State Fair.
Yeah. It smelled terrible by the time I got done. I think I threw all my clothes in the garbage, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
We had family friends that had the seafood thing, the fish and chips and lobster and you ever see those places there?
Yeah.
So they had that for they made so much money in 10 days of selling there.
Right.
And they had every kid and grandkid and
they recruited everyone they could to come in and work.
Yeah, because who wants to sit in the grease all day and do that? But anyway, so you did that.
Yeah, so I did that. And then I just had odd jobs throughout high school.
Brother and sisters,
yeah.
And
so, there is something that's interesting. So my mom was involved with a network marketing company, but just basically bought product every, month, right? She was in, but she wasn't really necessarily building. And there was a national program called DECA in high school that was all marketing. Mm-hmm. So I was involved in DECA. So I kind of had that entrepreneurial spirit. And so one of them was, one of their areas was in selling. And so I said, well, I want to sell. And so I actually did. And I actually was selling this product my mom was buying every month. And I didn't know it was network marketing. And so I sold it, and I won regional, then I won state, then I won nationals for it. So I was pitching and selling product and won nationals, and I didn't know it was network marketing at the time.
Wow.
And I was 17. Yeah, so crazy. And then someone told me, oh, it's a network marketing company. And I was like, no, it's not. And then I was like, what's network marketing? And I had no idea. Isn't that interesting? Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
So there was, a little tragedy in our early family with your mom.
With my mom. Yeah, I was little, 2 years old.
2 years old, so
Yeah.
you don't really have any memory.
No,
Yeah, I remember your mom. She died unexpectedly.
Yeah.
And super sad
Yeah.
with the family, but
Yeah.
wow, what a great second mom to come into the picture and
well, I mean, the mom that I have now is the only mom that I know.
yes,
like
of
she's
course.
my mom. You know
Of
what I mean?
course, of course,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
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 So,
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
All right, so Tony,
Yep.
your family upbringing and you're growing up, what were you like?
I was wild, but I was shy.
So you're the opposite of your son?
Yeah.
Yeah, the same actually.
Yeah,
Really?
Hudson's wild, but I was shy, but my son is just really vibrant and obviously he just wants to be everywhere with everybody.
Yeah.
But I was shy. And it took me growing up. I was competitive because I played a lot of sports. I got 2 older sisters, younger brother. My dad played semi-pro football and he coached us through everything. So I was always playing baseball, basketball, football, field hockey, we did all these different things. So I was competitive, but I was a shy guy, and I just really never kind of fit in growing up.
In Wisconsin,
This
right?
growing up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I kind of never fit in. It was hard for me to, make friends, and, I felt uncomfortable. I was like kind of never really happy in my own skin. And I'm just like, it's a weird feeling to have, but I kind of faked it a little bit through grade school and high school.
Don't you think most people have that?
Yeah, I think so.
I think most people
to some
have
level,
this,
right?
This out, they feel like they're the outsider,
Yeah.
no matter
Yeah.
who they are.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's like this. Am I an alien? Because everybody else seems to be a little wired different than me for sure.
Yep.
It seems to be easier for everybody else, right?
Right.
So I'm guessing, Sarah, you were probably a popular kid in school.
I was, but I think at the same time, like I'm definitely like, I'm the girl that I want to be fair with everyone. So I was everybody's friend.
Right.
But
I'm
still,
not saying being popular, but
yeah. So I mean, by being everybody's friend, I still didn't feel like I fit in anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
same thing.
Yeah.
Were you a popular kid in school?
Yeah, because I played all the sports and did all the stuff. So I was, and I was the quarterback on the football team. Hung out with all the cheerleaders and went to all the parties.
Right.
And,
So you were the shy jock.
Yeah, I was the shy jock.
Nice. How about grades?
Average.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just never really excelled with grades, but
Occasional
I did what I had to do so I could keep playing sports.
Right.
So I would hold that average, whatever that was back then, so I could just keep engaging.
What was your qualifier, right?
Yeah.
You make sure you're qualified to be able to do this.
To play, yeah.
So, and your parents?
My dad worked for the state of Wisconsin, and my mom worked for the electric company. And then somewhere like in the middle 80s, my mom just, I'm half Mexican, half Polish. So my mom's 100% Mexican, my dad's
Very
100%
common
Polish.
mix.
yeah, very.
Everyone's like, what are you? Yeah. Oh, Tony, Italian. No, I'm like, no, I'm not. But my mom just was like, she's a great cook, and she started kind of making tacos at bars, really popular bars throughout Milwaukee, and at festivals, and she started doing really good with this business. And she was just like, I'm having fun. I'm making more money than I am at the electric company. And then she kind of elevated it to another level, and she got a Snap-on tool truck. She gutted it and made a taco truck. Now, this is before there was any kind of food truck.
Like she was like the first
Really?
food truck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And she called it Laura's Tacos on Wheels. And I was driving the food truck, and my mom was on the grill. And we would literally go to festivals, but some of my best memories of that, Eric, were late night bars. We'd go to the hottest bars, and we put our truck right in front of it. Back then, you didn't need permits or anything like that. You could just sell. And from like 10 o'clock at night till 3 in the morning, we'd crush it because, Mexican food and alcohol goes great together.
Right.
And we did phenomenal.
Wow.
And that was kind of my first kind of.
What was your dad doing at the time?
My dad was, he was at home with the kids, but so my dad is such an encourager, and he's just like, you guys go, you guys can do this, man. And he was there to help and guide whatever he could, but he was like, man, this is great. But I kind of gravitated towards that out of the, my older sisters and my younger brother. Like, I'm like, Mom, like, man, did you see the amount of money we made tonight? Like $400 or $500 in a couple hours. Like, this is really cool. And I'm thinking, well, how can we do this more? And how many more bars can we get to? Can we get more trucks? And that's kind of been, my lead in the network marketing.
Got it. So where did the Laura's Taco Truck adventure go?
So basically, we did really well with that for a good 5-6 years. And then we ended up selling it because we got involved together in network marketing.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so
you and Mom were like the running buddies.
We were running buddies, yeah.
All right,
We were running buddies.
So and tell everybody about your mom and dad and their kind of nature, whether it would be secure, stable, corporate, or entrepreneurial, or a blend.
I think it's a blend.
Yeah.
I think it's a blend. It's interesting because the older that my parents got, the more entrepreneurial, like they were more open to it, right? Because, my dad was retired mailman, 33 years, right? It was back then like, go get a job, stay there and work there forever, right? That doesn't happen.
Your pension,
yeah, that just doesn't happen. And and we've talked about it. He's like, man, I wish I would have got out earlier. And, just because things had changed so much and the system had changed and all that. But I still appreciate because he was so steady for our family, we're just like steady Eddie, and.
So I get that Tony was encouraged to pursue entrepreneurial stuff and even participated with the family.
Well, I think too, though,
were you encouraged to go out there and take a non-traditional path?
No, but I kind of was like, I wanted to do what I wanted to do.
Why weren't you encouraged, you think?
Well, no, I don't think I was encouraged. I wasn't discouraged. It wasn't like, hey, go be an entrepreneur.
Yeah,
like they never said that.
It wasn't a push.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a stop.
Yeah, no. They were like, whatever you do, just like put your heart into it and like work it, crazy work ethic. But I think for me, the entrepreneur bug though, really, so after high school, so I went to college part-time for like a trimester and I was like, this is not working. And I actually became a nanny. And so I nannied for a couple of players that at the time were Minnesota North Stars. And so then they moved the team down to Dallas. And so I actually moved to Dallas. So I lived in Dallas when they were there. So I got a little taste of like the nicer life, right? And the lifestyle. And I was like, oh, I kind of like this. But then after a couple of years, I was like, oh, I wanted to live my life. Like I was living their life. Right? I was driving their car, living in their home, raising their kids. And I was like, I don't really have anything for me. And then that's when I moved back to Minneapolis and then was introduced to network marketing.
Yeah. So, and your first adventure, if I'm right on your first adventure, was a real adventure.
Yeah. Well, both of us.
You were both in the same company?
Yes.
Yeah, but we had never met.
No, it's our life is so crazy parallel since the beginning.
So anyway, this company is no longer in existence.
Right.
And you might have a different recollection than I do.
Right.
Okay. But I'm going to...
You sound like my parents.
I'm going to shoot straight.
Oh, yeah.
And the founder of this company was, in my opinion, an abusive person.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he abused people kind of emotionally, physically, but also financially.
Yes.
He created structures to suck every dollar he could out of the pockets of his own people.
Yep.
Instead of putting the money in.
Yeah.
He was trying to use all of them to enrich himself.
Right.
And ultimately, he ended up getting banned from network marketing for life and all that stuff, and everything caught up with him. But you, as a young, to start with you, Sarah, as a young, impressionable person, I mean, it was pretty glitzy and glamorous the whole environment that this guy created.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, because it was all people that were in their 20s.
Young.
None of us were married, single. So we all worked like maniacs because we were like, we didn't really have a lot of responsibility. Oh, totally. It was boiler room 100%.
Like the Wolf of Wall Street.
We worked from 7 in the morning till midnight every day.
Really? And that was the culture.
So I think that's where we got our work ethic. Though.
That was the culture.
There were definite things that we learned there that I'm so grateful for today because it definitely, I mean, I mean, and then there's a lot of things we discarded. Sure.
Like with anything. I mean, good examples of work ethic or the principles that stand the test of time. They're always going to be good.
Yeah.
Right. When you have wisdom is when you can pull the good and push the bad aside.
That's right.
But time, wisdom needs time.
Yeah.
Usually, right?
Yes.
So I remember you had kind of hit the wall at some point where it was just like you were kind of like that owner couldn't suck any more dollars out of you.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I think Tony had already left that company. Kind of and I was still there because I'm loyal, right? Because I'm loyal. Like I'm loyal. Like I'm gonna do this. Like if it kills me, like it almost kills.
I'm gonna try and figure this out. I'm gonna try and make stuff happen. What caused you to finally quit that environment? And what did you do next?
Do you know what happened?
No.
The company went out of business. That's when I left.
You didn't leave before that.
No, I was like,
you were the last person out the door.
Dude.
You were sweeping the floor.
You can count on me.
Sweeping the floor.
I was literally. I was mopping. I was mopping. I mean, I had just had an opportunity presentation that I had done. And I was like, I'm full on. And then we had a conference call and it was like, hey, XYZ company is no longer in business, like Dunzo. And we were like, wow, this is crazy. And I'd kind of seen the writing on the wall, but at the same time, I'm a problem solver too, right? And a fixer. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to keep doing what I thought I knew, right? Mm-hmm.
And Tony, you had gone through.
Yes, I was with that company for 6 years, from 1993 to 1999, and I grew a lot. I didn't make money for 3 years, and then I was figuring it out, and then the whole thing was falling apart from the company standpoint, like you mentioned.
Well, you figured it out.
And I was just really upset and mad and frustrated because I'm like, I'm finally getting this thing.
Yeah.
And I'm making some money, and I'm really I got a team growing in different cities. It might even go overseas, and then the whole thing just was pulled out from us, and we were like, wow, what do we do now?
Well, I think too, you and
your mom.
Yeah, me and my mom and my sister.
Yeah. But I think too, like you had started grow. I mean, you were more successful than me. So because of that, he also got to experience a little bit like the leadership, glamour. Right? And then he was like,
in the inner circle.
Yeah. And then he was like, oh, wow, this is now what
was the most you ever made?
$30,000 in a month. Yeah.
Oh, in a month?
Yeah.
So in a year, did you pull into?
Probably 340, 350. Yeah.
Big. That's big.
And that was towards the end before the company went out of business.
Yeah. And what was the most you ever made?
Oh my gosh, not even close to that. 100,000 in a year.
Still great.
Yeah.
You're in your 20s.
Yeah.
It's funny how we spit on like. It's only 100,000. I was in my 20s. It took me 3 years. It's like normal. Right? Normal for somebody to say about how much did your dad ever make as a mailman after 33 years?
Oh, I didn't even know. 40,000.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
33 years. That's normal.
Yeah.
That's normal.
What we talk about, we're like, oh yeah, it was just like. I got to 30.
Yeah.
A year? No, a month.
Right.
Oh, okay.
But I think you saw closer what was happening with you know what I mean? Like what was really happening with the company. And he was like, oh, I don't like this. Like, this is not like just culture and all that, right? And he's like, I don't want to.
Yeah, I was invited out to his boat and, with some of the other people. And then I just seen what was going on the boat for 3 days. And I knew I was done. I knew right when we would pull back in and I'd get off that boat that I would.
Just party crazy?
Yeah, there was party, there was drugs, there was, just a lot of crazy stuff,
Sleeping around.
sexually sleeping around, stuff like that, and just stuff that wasn't me, and I just couldn't go there, right? We all make choices, right? Those choices lead us to, the outcome.
It's funny when you're in environments and everything's fine until you see one thing.
Well, he walked off and he quit.
Yeah.
Walked off the boat, done.
I can't go represent this.
Right.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I've been there a couple times. It's just like, if you can't go do a presentation with authenticity, then you're done.
Right.
Yeah.
And then if you continue to lead people, knowing that there's no future, then you're super fraud.
Right.
You can't do it.
Right.
So belief is such a big deal. So, all right. So we get to this, everybody thinks that these guys just arrived at the $1 Million Hall of Fame, with no drama and trauma. So this company goes out of business. What do you do next, Tony?
So I'm in New York City. I had one of those big offices that we did business in. So I get so mad at the profession and I say, I'm never doing this again. I'm done. So I go to Wall Street and I apply for a job, and they need one guy. There's hundreds applying, and the average sales guy made $350,000 and had a $10,000 a month expense account.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm going for this. So it took me 90 days, which is 3 months, to get this job, and I beat out hundreds of applicants. And I had no experience in that area.
That network marketing experience.
And I used what I learned those last 6 years, and I just switched it over to data storage.
Yeah.
That was the company.
Wow.
And it worked. I got hired.
But you got to tell them how you...
Well, I kept coming back and kept coming back and kept coming back. And it's frustrating after you come back 13, 14, 15 times in 3 months, right? I mean, I know it's a good career and it's a great company, right? $1 billion company. And I finally go into John's office, who runs HR, and I'm just kind of like, inside, I'm like, if he doesn't hire me now, I'll just go do something else, whatever. And I walk right in, I sit down, and he goes, you got less than 10 seconds. I need one word from you. If it's the right word, you're hired. Go.
That describes you.
That describes me. Yeah. So I look at him, and the first thing I say, I mean, within a second, I go, winner. He goes, you're hired. Go down and fill out your paperwork. And that's how I got that job.
Crazy?
Yeah. But it was just, you know what I mean? Because I was a winner my whole life, playing sports, in business, and relationships. And that's my word. So I'm like, winner, John. He goes, you're hired. Go down and fill the paperwork.
Wow. 13 times.
13. Yeah. And I'm just like, this is awesome.
So, and how long did you work that job?
Gosh, I was there from 99 to like 02. So 3 years.
Yeah. You enjoy it?
It was fun the first year, but then, a lot of it gets old with, taking clients out every night. And then, you're climbing the corporate ladder. You still are, no matter how much money you're making. And there's another rank advantage. That's right. And the more money they give you, or the more bonuses they give you, they expect like 10 times more of the production or 10 times more of your time. And I found myself just miserable after a year in, going, gosh.
And what did your mom and sister end up doing?
You know what? My sister, she met an amazing man who was a basketball coach, and she decided to have a family and start a family with him, and that's been tremendous. And my mom actually went into another food business, the popcorn business. Those red wagons everywhere. Yeah. She bought about 30 of those. And she said, well, I'm going to take them all throughout, Milwaukee, and put them at the festivals and put them here. Go. Yeah, and she still has that business today, which, I'm super proud of her, because she just kind of pivoted from, tacos to popcorn, and, she works it 4 or 5 months out of the year and does really well. And, I just love her hustle, and I love just, she's so inspiring, because it's like, she just always wants to figure out a way to keep going and make something happen. And she'll do anything she can to make sure.
We got to set up, one of these masterminds here at the house.
Yeah.
I want you and Mom to make tacos.
We will knock out the mastermind.
They made homemade tortillas, like all legit. Like no.
We would have everybody. Real. Yeah, it's
so great. You make the pivot.
Yep.
And you have a job, and that's fine.
Yep.
You're not happy, but you're making money.
Yep. So then I leave New York and I go out to California and I get into the car business.
Oh, wait, before we get to the car business. Okay. So you're doing that for 3 years. Now I got to get back to Sarah.
Get back.
It's okay. I don't mind. I love hearing his story.
This is good.
So Sarah
So the business
is the loyal last person on the sinking ship, and she's like, "What? No, we still need to fight.
Yeah,
we can win this." And they shut them down, and they lock out the owner. And you're like, what do I do? What do you do?
So I was actually the leaseholder for 3 offices in like Cincinnati, Lexington, and Louisville.
And this company,
like this triangle. So we used to have training centers,
and this
right?
company used to tell their leaders to sign leases for offices. They had like an office concept.
Yeah, and then people would rent like desks and workspace and all that stuff, right? So I was, oh my gosh, 24 years old. Like my overhead was 25 grand a month with these 3 offices, and it closed, you know? So that was crazy. I got out of all of them.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was like a blessing. Otherwise, I don't even know what would have happened.
Sure.
You know, crazy. So I moved back to Minneapolis, and then that's when I went in the mortgage business. That was when the mortgage business just was starting to really skyrocket, right? And then so I had a great ride there, but I actually ended up leaving the mortgage business because the CEO of that company, like at that time, you know, there's just a lot of crooked stuff happening financially, right? Because they were making so much money,
So
right?
you saw the wrong thing.
Yeah, again.
And you went, nah.
Yeah, I was like, this doesn't feel good. I'm like, this is crazy. You know, you could just be an order. If the phones were ringing so crazy, right? Like if you could be an order taker, you could work there in the mortgage business, literally. And so I saw all that, and people were making so much money at that time before everything busted.
The no doc loans.
Yeah, totally.
Wow.
Yeah.
You didn't even need to show that you had an income or.
Yeah, no state. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So did that, and then that. Then I ended up. And then we reconnected.
And was it that was the reconnection time?
Yeah.
So this is mid 2000, like 2005, 2004.
Yeah, 4, about 4 then at that time when we reconnected.
Yeah, because I met you in 2005.
Yep.
So you were a good year early.
4.
So at that time, I'd also been out of the network marketing profession, and I invested all of my money, like $10 million, into a business that failed. And I was like, so, you know, what I know is network marketing. So found a company and called up Sarah and said, Sarah, you want to run? And she's like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm so ready.
Yeah.
So we started building in Minneapolis, and then we set up a meeting in Sacramento.
Right.
Yeah.
And you had set this up, right? Or
No,
had.
you know
Who
what's
set
funny?
it up?
I just found the old email from you, that the whole thing of launching the business. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And it listed all the cities and so that you're going to. And you're like, hey, if any of you guys have contacts in these markets, let me know. And like Sacramento was, well, it said Sac was number 2. And then so my friend Bobby was living in Sacramento.
Bobby.
And I was like,
So I go to do this meeting, and you know, everybody said there was going to be like 30 people there, and there was 4.
Right. We all know how that goes.
And I did the full presentation, and then Bobby and Tony walk in like 5 minutes before it's over. Like car sales guys.
Yes.
You know, like strutting in, you know, like, hey, we've arrived.
Yeah.
And whoever it was asked if I would. There must have been somebody else connected or something. If I'd stay and do another presentation, I did not want to do it. But we ended up sitting in the kind of the lobby area and chatting for another hour and a half, and great conversation.
Yeah.
Great decision to end up doing it. And then they end up joining, and 2 months later?
So
or 1 month later.
That was June of 2005 that I met you.
And then we met
the
in
end of June.
Yeah.
End of June, wasn't it? I think it was the end of June.
Yeah,
in
it was
Chicago.
June. I just know it was June of 2005, and it was the DoubleTree. I never forget
In Chicago?
In Chicago.
No, the DoubleTree where you and I met.
yeah.
In Sacramento. Yep, and then
So that might have been May.
July of 2005, we went out to
your
Chicago.
meeting was
Close.
May, and then we were June.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever it was.
Chicago.
So within a few weeks, we end up doing a big event in Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah.
And you guys end up meeting.
For the first time.
Which,
Yeah.
there's a little chemistry, there's a little something.
Yeah. Well, and it was cool because my mom was there at the event because she was in my business, and Tony's mom was in the business. So then it's like, it was so perfect. Like we met, our moms met, we all met. It was like, we might as well have got married right at the event. Like everyone was like, oh, we all love each other. This is amazing. And like our moms like are great, great friends, right, to this day. It's like so one of those crazy things where everyone's like, oh, your in-laws like hang out together? We're like, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
So that company ends up having great success.
Yeah.
Yep.
And just like you said, there came a moment when I realized there was not going to be a future.
Yeah.
Yep.
And stuff happened between investors and management.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was obvious to me
Yeah.
that there needed to be something else. So, we made the right decision.
Yeah.
And now fast forward, you guys find your company that you're with, your forever company.
Yeah.
And you started, how long you been building with them now?
8 years in May. will be
In
8
May,
years.
this May will be 8 years.
And how old are your kids now?
6 and 8.
Yeah, so Hudson, we started building when Hudson was born.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you start building 2 families at the same time.
At the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah.
And
we launched a company. I was pregnant, and we moved back from California to Minnesota. Like, we did it all in like the same month.
yeah.
It was a lot.
One thing that I'll go backwards for a moment to the previous company.
Yeah.
That I will tell you, I know you guys went through, some challenges over the course of your marriage. And one of the things I'm really proud of you for doing, and most people won't do, is you weren't making the money that you'd hoped you were making.
Right.
And you made a hard choice, a tough choice of Sarah continuing to build and you going back into the car business
Yep.
that you did not want to do,
Oh, no.
but was necessary to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you took the emotionally intelligent decision and path to say, I'm going to do what's necessary so I can do what I, by the time necessary, so I can do what I want to do.
Yeah. And I said to myself, I tricked my brain, just said it's just a short season
Yes.
and I'll be able to make X amount of money because I knew my skill set, knew what I could create, and then I'll be able to get back in.
And sometimes, I think the lesson in that is sometimes you need to either shrink your financial footprint
Yep.
or you need to be resourceful, stay in the game,
Yeah.
but be resourceful in order to be able to create revenue until things are ready to take off.
Yeah.
And so I just want to honor you for doing
Thank
that
you.
because I think
Appreciate that.
I know that there was a lot of shitty days
Yeah.
in the middle of that. Well, I'm bringing in the money, but I remember having the conversations. I feel like I'm giving up on my dream. What's the matter? All of that stuff. What was like the hardest part of that experience for you?
Well, people think sometimes network marketing is a grind. That grind I was in the car business was 10 times worse than it ever was in network marketing. And it's just, dealing with a management team and dealing with a boss and being, looked at over your shoulder and what's your numbers and what's your calls and just being micromanaged. When you come from a situation like network marketing where you're your own boss, you run your own deal. Yeah. And now all that's taken away from you, and then the more that I would produce there, the more they would want me to do more. So they said, that's great, but you know what? This is what we need you to do this month, right? So they were just pushing me and riding me. And I'd come home and I'd just cry at nights,
Yeah.
But I knew it was a season, Eric. And I knew it was a season. I just tricked my mind. It's just a season, Tony. Just keep doing what you're doing. Before you know it, you're going to be back and doing what you love.
And sometimes it feels like you're slogging it out inside network marketing too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we were trying to have kids and I had several miscarriages at that point. I think that was a big piece of that. So we were so just stressed. We were just trying to make it work, right?
How
But
many
we didn't.
How many miscarriages you guys had?
Oh, I've had 5 now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our kids are our miracle babies.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't really tell that story, but yeah. But it's okay though. Like my kids are like, it's all good. You just keep on
My
moving.
kids had one, and it was trauma. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
I remember that season, how hard it was.
Yeah.
You know what though? I'm grateful for personal development. I think if I didn't have that, I think it'd be, it would have been a lot harder. Right? Just so much stuff that we learn how to cope and handle and work through and understand and how do we look at experience, right? things that happen? What can we, like, everything that you always teach us, like, what can I learn from this right now? Like, what am I supposed to be learning right now in the midst of all this, even though feels like it's so terrible and so heavy and so dark? Like, what can I learn from it? But I also, too, there's so many people that I've connected with that have gone through the same situation with infertility and miscarriages and so forth, that I've been able to breathe life into them and give them encouragement, right? So I also always told myself, Sarah, like, the stuff that you're going through right now, oh my gosh, like, you're gonna be able to help a lot of people. So that really helped me have a
Could reframe it a bit.
And so that helped me a lot, you know?
The thing I find interesting is, how old are you now, Tony?
47.
Am I
Same.
allowed to ask?
Yeah, we're 8 days apart.
Okay, 47 years old, and in our world, people are looking to make what you're making in, by the time they're 27.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you're not ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
It might have destroyed you
Yeah.
had you had the opportunity that you have right now at 27.
Mm-hmm.
There was a journey that you needed to take, and there was growth that needed to occur.
Mm-hmm.
There was experience and wisdom that needed to accrue over the course of time.
Yeah.
You had to have perspective, which creates gratitude and appreciation and discipline, and the lessons needed to be made. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I think when they say the journey's the thing,
Yeah.
it's really true.
Mm-hmm.
That the people you've become in the process of stretching for this is the prize.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just like you said, you had the skills, you used the network marketing skills to go into Wall Street, and you used the car skills to be able to create cash flow for the family. You never have to worry about paying your bills the rest of your life, ever.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You're done. You're done worrying about.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can still stretch for
Mm-hmm.
more contribution, more fun stuff, more things for your kids. You can stretch, but you don't have to worry
Yeah.
about those different types of things. That is a pretty amazing deal to be able to have, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think all of it prepared you to be the leaders that you were meant to be in the last 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's what created what was the first year you had 2 commas in your income? What was it?
was that year?
I don't know. I feel like we've been doing it for so long.
First time you made $1 million in a year.
Yeah. Gosh, in a year. Gosh,
in a year?
it was last year.
Last year.
Yeah.
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 So and what?
And we've made total. I was doing our career earnings. It's
Yeah.
like 8 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
8 million.
Yeah, right now.
So you had your first $1 million. You're far surpassing that.
We're going to double
Yeah.
it this year.
this
Yeah.
year. But what year did you start?
Well, we started building together in 2000.
No, not that.
No.
What was the first year you were involved in network marketing?
Oh, 1993.
And you?
95.
93 and 95. So what is that? 95.
I'm so bad.
2005, 2015, 25 years.
25.
25 and 27 years.
Yeah.
But it prepared you to be able to do what you needed to do.
Yeah.
And the experience,
Mm-hmm.
the grinding wheel that is network marketing,
Yeah.
helped you to find yourselves, to be able to battle whatever negative thoughts and habits and everything else, and to become a power couple,
Yeah.
to become a great family unit, and also to become a great example.
Yeah.
Because it's fun to tell the stories of somebody who's made a bunch of money in 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to talk to them after 25 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me what it looks like now
Right.
after 25 years, because, like I say, some of them weren't ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you were prepared.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it baked for a while
Yeah.
Yeah.
before the opportunity of a lifetime showed up in your lap.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and there was a lot of years we were at 900 and
No,
800.
you don't need to explain
Yeah.
it.
But no, I'm just saying, for some of us in the profession, we go, oh, what's wrong with me?
No, I know you
And they
guys
beat
did that
themselves
for
up.
years.
Yeah. But
you guys were
yeah.
professionals at beating yourselves up. You
Yes.
were so good at it. You could give courses on how to do
Yes,
it.
yes,
You were
yes.
like, what is the matter?
Yes.
All my friends are making more money than me.
Right.
You know, the A student and the,
Yeah,
and the, and the
yeah.
jock.
Yeah.
And the jock in school is
Yeah.
just like, come on, I
Yeah.
got to compete. So I understand that.
But that's a whole nother training and
But I will
conversation.
tell you,
Yeah.
like what you've been sharing, like that is, I mean, I feel like that's a number one thing that we've been sharing with people now is helping them understand that, you know, just like everything that's happening is like preparing you, right, for where you're meant to be. And I think too, like the minute that, you know, like I think for us a big decision, like or like a turning, if everyone's like, hey, what was a defining moment?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
I think it was that.
What?
Well, I think it was where we finally went, gosh, everything that's happening, like it's supposed to happen how it's laid out. Like we took the pressure off ourselves. We took the pressure of like, you know, I think I've mentioned to you before, like the deadline of us having to hit a goal or what have you, right? It's like release that valve. So then it's now for us, we're so much in the flow that whatever does happen is happening to us. We're like, oh, this is part of the story that we're creating. This is part of getting us prepared for, I don't know what's next, but it is preparing us, right? And when you can have that perspective, then I think, oh my gosh, like this business is so much more light and fun. And when it's fun, then you're more attractive and more people want to join your business.
And when did that decision happen for you to let that go and to just relax into it?
I think like 7 years ago. I mean,
Something like that?
yeah,
6-7 years ago.
6-7 years ago.
Any big defining moments for you that changed?
Well, I got to tell you this quick story. So last week I was shredding a bunch of stuff, and I had 1099s from the company we were with when we worked with you. And in 2010, I'm shredding these 1099s, and it was 6 figures for the year. And it just hit me as I'm shredding this going, wow, 10 years later, 6 figures a year 10 years ago, and now 6 figures a month 10 years later. And I stopped for a moment and I just said, that's pretty freaking cool. Like, I don't care it was 10 years, but to go from 6 figures a year to 6 figures a month, and some people, it might take 15. Some people might never get it, but you know what? The eye was on the prize, right? And we just kept learning and kept doing and kept growing. But I thought that was really neat going, wow, 10 years, but how sweet is that?
Unbelievable. And the funny thing is, you look at, people think about 10 years as a long time, but it's a pretty short period of time. And the amount that can change in 10 years, people look at them 10 minutes, they look at 10 days, they look at 10 weeks, forget about that stuff. My goals today, it's been so different the last 10 years. They're directional, but they're not as hard as they used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the 1 year, 5 year, 10 years thing?
Yeah. Like directionally, 10 years from now, I'd like to have this, or I don't know how, I don't know when.
Yeah.
But usually it happens way faster.
Yeah.
Way easier.
Yeah.
I think
and in our profession sometimes it's a rank advance.
Yeah.
You know, all this other kind of stuff. And we have urgency, and urgency is important. Deadlines are important.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All those different things are important. 25 years experience plus, both of you, quarter of a century.
Mm-hmm.
If you could condense it, it's not a one.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's not a one-word thing, but I'll start with you, Tony. If you could condense down the wisdom of what you've learned in 25 years,
Yeah.
what would you share?
Well, I learned this in 1993 because I had no idea what I was doing, but I had a pretty good sponsor. And she said, Tony, pay attention, get excited, and never quit. And she says, you got to do these 3 things all the time. And she talked about really where I learned for the first time how to invest in Tony Zolecki and invest in myself. And what I started doing early on, because I dropped out of college, and I started spending money to go to seminars to learn network marketing, but primarily to learn people skills and how to communicate and, you know, all the things we learn to build a successful business here. But I learned how to invest in me and not look at it, oh my God, I'm spending all this money and it's going on my credit card and look at the expense building up and up and up. But I looked at it as, Tony, this is the best investment you can ever make and this will pay off. And now I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars, but $8 million in career earnings. So sure, I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in masterminds.
And it's only warming up.
That's what I mean. And I'm just like, but I was so happy that I got that advice early. And actually that I took advantage of it, because there's all the people that are going, oh, I couldn't put, you know, a $300 training on my credit card. Oh my gosh. You know, but I looked at it as like, thank you for letting me put this on my credit card. I'm going to take this information in 2 days and I'm going to make $3,000 the next month and pay that $300 off, and I'll be up $2,700.
Right.
That's how I seen it right off the bat. So I've never stopped investing in Tony Zolecki. And I'm always learning and growing, and I spend money on trainings and masterminds, and I want to be around people that can give me what I don't have, you know? And it's like, I love working with you because, you know, you've gone to such a whole different level, specifically the last 12 months. And I'm like, just what we get from you is, it's stuff that has created not only doubling and tripling the business, but being a better husband and being a better friend and being better with my kids and being better in communities with people, right? So that is the best wisdom I ever got, and I live by it today.
I love that. And some people misinterpret the never quit piece, because some people say, well, you know, you quit your network marketing business. You didn't quit network marketing.
Right.
You didn't quit network marketing. There was a company that let you down.
Yeah.
And you couldn't represent that leadership.
Yeah.
So that wasn't quitting. And when you went back to the car business, you weren't quitting. You were fighting
Yeah.
to stay in the game,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
There's a difference
Yes.
between saying I'm done
Right.
and I'm going to go do that as a career and I'm staying here forever. It was this short little season,
Right.
you know. So don't get it, you know, twisted when it comes to the quitting thing.
Right.
You don't quit on yourself. Don't quit on the profession. You know, stay the course, but also have some standards.
Yeah. And I think it's, you know, it's okay to go and have to do something like that to keep.
Get some,
but people
you get some
feel
appreciation too.
But people feel so humiliated and
It
embarrassed.
doesn't have
and
to be
like
all or nothing.
Yeah,
right?
like they
They're all
failed and like, oh, I'm the biggest loser ever. And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like,
Go pay
I
the
love
bills.
all over them and encourage them and go, you know what? It's a season. We'll be right back rocking and rolling.
Go pay the bills.
Yep. Yep.
Sarah, what would you say?
Oh, I don't know.
What's
That was a good one. I'm just like, well, we're done.
of 25 years? What if you were trying to describe what were the lessons? What was the value? What was it all about?
That it's worth it.
Yeah.
You know?
What makes it worth it?
I think the hardship and the heartaches and the keep on keeping on when your best friend quits your business, when you're, you know, someone says no, when you're, you know, exhausted from like, is this ever going to work? And, you know, it's all those feelings of like wanting it so bad, right? I mean, it's the extra hours that you put in. It's that extra call, the extra Zoom, the extra, you know, it's that one more thing, right? Like that, it's worth it. And I think sometimes it's hard for people to see that, you know, see the big picture of it all. And oh my gosh, there's just so I just think that, you know, I'm just so grateful for this business because I'm so happy as me now. You know, I think a lot of us we get, you know, we talked about like on the when we did the panel at GoPro, right? And we talked about like, Sarah, why did you get in the business? I was like, because I wanted to be somebody. Like that was like legit true. But that's legit true for a lot of people in this business. They're not here because of the money. They're just like, I want to fit in. I want to feel connected. I want to feel loved. I want to feel, right? I get that. So it's really cool for me because I'm like, oh man, there's like a lot of little mini me's that I get to love on and encourage, right? Yeah. And so like I'm really inspired by that piece of it. You know, it's worth it.
I love that. Well, both of you, thank you for your contribution. It's fun to watch your journey.
Yeah.
I know you're just getting warmed up. They took it all away. I know you'd have it back very, very quickly because of the people you become and the skills you developed, relationship that you developed.
That's right.
You know, good reputations, good people, good business, good combination. So love you both.
Yeah.
That's it,
Thank you.
everybody. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, share it with somebody that might appreciate it as well. Take care.